New hire Takuma is attending his company's 40th anniversary with his mentor Shiori, and his coworker Chinatsu, and his manager Chihiro. During the presentation, the CEO of the company announces a new hire competition for all the people in the company, and Shiori tells Takuma in the past, their manager Chihiro won the MVP award when he was new. The competition is to promote the company mascot Meowtaro, and the reward is a free beach vacation for their whole team. Takuma wants to win the vacation to spend time with Shiori, so the rest of his coworkers decide to help him with his work so he can focus on winning the competition. Later, Takuma talks about the competition with his fellow new hire Yusuke, who isn't interested in winning the resort because he doesn't like his team very much. Yusuke dreams about transferring to Takuma's team so he could work with Shiori and Chihiro, and he teases Takuma about his close relationship with Shiori. This makes Takuma think about all the events that have happened between him and Shiori, including his aborted confession attempt. Meanwhile, they are approached by Akari, a rising star of Group 1 who is considered the favorite to win the competition. Akari is completely focused on work, but overheard them talking about Shiori. She misunderstands Takuma's closeness with Shiori, and starts to suspect the older girl is abusing her power as a mentor. But when the boys defend Shiori, she starts to argue with Yusuke. Luckily, her manager Shinobu arrives, who is able to calm down Akari, who completely worships her manager. Shinobu joined the company at the same time as Chihiro, and they are friendly rivals as a result, especially because Chihiro won the award when they started the company, and his group usually outperforms hers. But over time, Shinobu and Chihiro have built a working relationship based on respect, and she doesn't hold ill feelings toward him, and she actually wants him to work with her. She tells Takuma that she has an agreement with the CEO that if her group wins the competition, Chihiro would be transferred to her team. Takuma doesn't want to lose his manager and tells them they won't win, but Akari is determined to be the MVP this year. As they leave, Ishimaya from PR reveals himself to have been eavesdropping the entire time. A worried Takuma returns to his group to find Shiori and Chihiro having tea together, unaware of the crisis. As part of the promotional event, the entire team goes to a nearby school to promote Meowtaro in a product test. They play and interact with the kids at the school with Meowtaro merchandise, but Takuma is still worried about the competition, especially since he hasn't told the group what Shinobu told him. While they interact with the kids, Takuma and Shiori watch each other interact with kids, and impress each other on how well they each interact with children. They are even able to work together to solve kids fighting over a toy, but this leads to a young girl wanting to use them to pretend to play house. Shiori starts to fantasize about a family with Takuma, but the girl actually wanted Shiori to play the role of the house cat. Shiori goes along with the girl's request, but ends up embarrassing herself by acting like a cat in front of her coworkers. This also leads to a close moment between her and Takuma. Later they help the girl create a sand castle which ends up being destroyed by another kid, but the two of them are able to resolve the situation and get the kids to play nice with each other. The team leaves the school successfully, although Chinatsu slowly stressed from their visit. Meanwhile, on the car ride back, Shiori starts to think more romantically about Takuma. The next day, Takuma finds Shiori working overtime in the office eating cup ramen when he accidentally runs into her singing. An embarrassed Shiori ends up dealing with the shock by getting him to sing about their company mascot. Meanwhile, Yusuke and Akari meet each other in the break room and he encourages her not to push herself too hard. She ignores him, and the toll of the competition is affecting Takuma as well as he appears the next day completely exhausted. Takuma feels the pressure of winning the competition because he doesn't want to disappoint his coworkers and lose his manager. Shiori easily detects he is stressed, so she calms him down and tells him to just try his best. Meanwhile, Akari is meeting with her manager who is happy with her work, but she also feels the stress from the competition, but puts on a brave face. This leads to Takuma finding her crying outside the bathrooms. Feeling bad for her, Takuma asks Shiori later if she could somehow help Akari since she is always good at calming him down. Shiori agrees, and later that night she finds Akari working late in the break room. A competitive Akari doesn't want to listen to her, but Shiori is able to break through to Akari by talking about Meowtaro, which sends Akari into an excited rant because she loves the company mascot. Shiori asks Akari if she is stressed about the upcoming competition, and Akari eventually confesses that she is terrible at art. Somehow she was hired even though her skills were lacking, and she kept this a secret from everyone in the company. But she doesn't want to disappoint her manager Shinobu, so she keeps trying to practice in secret. Shiori tells her to tell Shinobu the truth, and everything will be okay. Akari decides to go to Shinobu with the truth, and shows off her terrible art, but she immediately starts crying saying that she is a failure. Shinobu recognizes she is pushing the girl too hard, and she comforts her and asks the rest of the team to give her support. Later, Takuma is preparing for the competition by dressing up in a Meowtaro costume. He gets compliments from the rest of the team, but Shiori is a bundle of nerves and is worried for him. Suddenly, Akari appears and tells him that she is his rival for the competition, but she also thanks him for asking Shiori to help cheer her up, even though she has no intention of losing to him. Their conversation leads to Shiori learning the truth about the competition, that Chihiro would be transferred if Takuma lost. Shiori is disappointed that Takuma didn't inform her, and is shocked that actually everyone else knew. But Takuma calms her down after apologizing, and tells her that with her guidance so far he will definitely win. The team heads out to the competition, where Chinatsu introduces a redesign of the mascot as a super friend, while Takuma appears dressed as a skateboarding Mountero. The presentation is appreciated by the audience, who all think it's a good idea, but Shiori is still worried about the results backstage. After Takuma does a magic trick, he becomes quite popular, which makes Shiori somewhat jealous, but still happy that the presentation went well. Afterwards, Shiori ambushes the costumed Mountero to give him a hug, but Mountero panics and starts to run. Suddenly, Takuma appears behind her, and to Shiori's embarrassment, Takuma had to actually switch places with Chihiro, so her manager was actually in the costume. Later, the results of the competition are announced, and the CEO tells them that both Takuma's team and Akari's team both won awards for excellence. But this also means that neither team won the MVP award for their team. Takuma is sad to not win the beach vacation, although Shiori tells him it's okay, and Akari starts to cry for disappointing her manager, but Shinobu comforts her and tells her that she appreciates everything. Meanwhile, everyone is shocked when Yusuke wins the MVP award due to his confusion. Afterwards, the whole company goes to a holiday party, and Shiori ambushes Takuma after taking him to eat ramen with her. After she compliments him for doing well on the competition, they become embarrassed when people passing by think they are a couple. After the holidays, they are all back at work, and Chinatsu is heading out to lunch when Chihiro decides to join her. Shiori teases Chinatsu that it's a lunch date, but the short also becomes teased when Takuma joins them. Meanwhile, Yusuke arrives back from his vacation quite tanned, but also traumatized by his other coworkers. Their coworker Eiko arrives to show off a new game from Mountero she made inspired by the competition. For Eiko's game, the players have to romance a humanized Mountero, but the group is confused about the different character choices Eiko made. Suddenly, Akari appears excited to hear about a new game about Mountero, but she quickly becomes disillusioned by the fact that Eiko has turned her favorite mascot human. The two of them argue about whether or not fans will actually enjoy the game. Meanwhile, the romance choices in the game remind Takuma and Shiori of their own budding romance, and in particular the time where Takuma made an aborted confession to Shiori on the company roof. Eiko confuses them to be disappointed in her game, and she tells them not to give up, accidentally giving them motivation to pursue their feelings for each other. This leads to Shiori telling Takuma later that night that she wouldn't mind if they became closer friends instead of just co-workers, and they could meet each other outside of work. Takuma quickly agrees, and they excitedly come up with different things they do with each other after work. Meanwhile, a happy Chihiro is spying on them. A few days later, Takuma and Shiori are happy they are now friends and not just co-workers. But they find that almost nothing has changed with their situation, since they are still keeping their feelings for each other a secret. Later at lunch, they both think about when the best time to move forward in their relationship is, but are uncertain. During the conversation, they each get inspired by the work conversation to visit the amusement park together, and they each start thinking about going to the amusement park on a date. Eiko starts to take their fantasies off track when she talks about vacations at a private fancy hotel, which starts to make Takuma and Shiori embarrassed about their fantasies. They still secretly want to go on a trip with each other though. Meanwhile, Akari expresses her disapproval of theme parks because she wants to make her own Mountero theme park. But she is open to going with the rest of the group to an amusement park to do research. They all decide on a theme park trip together, but find that their work schedules are too busy. But after lunch, Takuma asks Shiori privately if she wanted to go to an amusement park with him. She quickly agrees, and the next day after they each struggle to decide on what to wear, they go on their first official date together, finishing with a photo of the two of them together at the park. And this is all for this video. Make sure to subscribe if you enjoyed it, and I will see you in the next one.